I'm Neil and thank you very much for joining me today for a review of St. Patrick. Now this is going to be a bit of a different review. I'm going to give you a really brief overview of the rules. I'm also going to give you a very brief overview of how I've home ruled this game, house ruled this game, because the game as it comes out of the box is good fun. I like it. The game with my house rules is one of my favourite games in one of my favourite genres of games. This is a trick taking, it's specifically a trick avoidance game where you don't really want to collect any of the bad cards. There are cards which have snakes in the game. You don't really want any of them unless you go for all of them. And that shoot the moon mechanism is what brings you back for more and more and more and more, because once other players see you're starting to go for it, they're desperately trying to stop you. It's super exciting. So yeah, I'm going to take you down to the table, give you a brief overview, and then I'll bring you back up to give you my final thoughts. Okay, cheers. Okay, these are the components for St. Patrick. I'm going to teach you how the game teaches you how to play, and I'm going to tell you why you need to play it a different way, and I'll teach you that way. So we have 4 suits numbered 1 through to 9. Yes, you can see the cards are getting incredibly worn. We also have some shields here that are going to protect us from snake bites. What are snake bites, I hear you say? Well, any black card has 1 snake on it, whereas the orange 7 has 3 snakes, as does the white 7 have 3 snakes. The aim of the game is not to take snake bites or to shoot the moon and go for all of the snake bites. That is the aim of the game. Each player will start with 20 lives, and what's going to happen is if you're playing a 3-player game, all the cards are going to be dealt out. In a 4-player game, all the cards are going to be dealt out equally once again. And then you're going to look at your cards. You're going to pass 1 to the player on your left, and then you're going to look at your cards. And with your cards, you're then going to start drafting these shields. These are going to protect you from snake bites. So the game says we do this in turn order. If you pass, you can carry on as long as the other players haven't passed. So let's say, for example, I take 2, next player takes 3, and the 3rd player passes. I could then take again, I could take 4, this player could take 2, this player could then jump in again and take 2 more. Now, the rules state that if this one is taken at this point now, by either me or this player here, there are no shields left, and what happens is you lose 1 life for each shield you've taken. All of these go back in the middle. You pass all of your cards to the player on your left, and then you do the drafting of the shields again. Once again, we don't play that rule. We also don't play the 20 lives rule because it's just a little bit too long. So how does the trick taking work? So the trick taking works like this. On your turn, it's a must follow. If I play a green card, the next players must play a green card. Now, obviously, if they've managed to short their suit, they can dump any other card on you they like. The person who plays the highest card of the lead colour, so green was the lead colour, would win the trick. You don't need to collect the cards. All you need to do is collect the snakes. So at the end of the round, you will see how many snakes you've collected. Deduct from that the amount of shields. So let's say, I had, let's say I had, for example, let's say I had six snakes, 3, 4, 5, 6, and only 3 shields. I would lose 3 lives. And the person who's got the least amount of lives would then have the option of choosing 0, 1, or 2 cards to pass to the player on the left in the next turn. You keep on going like that until someone gets down to 0 lives. The person with the most lives wins. So, how do I prefer to play? Right. The trick taking is exactly the same, must follow. The shoot the moon mechanism. So in the base game, the shoot the moon mechanism states that if you manage to get all of them, everyone else just loses 3 lives. So the way we play it is more related into the shields. The way we play it is you start off with 15 lives rather than 20. And then once you've done seen your cards, pass the card across, etc., you will then look at your cards, and then you get 1 chance to draft as many as you like. So let's say I draft 3, that player drafts 4, that player drafts 2. That's it. The draft is over. We then play the trick taking. Now, if I have more shields than I have snakes, so if I only end up the game with 2 snakes but 3 shields, they're protected, then I would lose a life for having too many shields. This makes the draft a lot more exciting and a lot more accessible at the beginning of the game, and it also makes the trick taking a lot more fun. We also play that if one player shoots the moon and grabs all the snakes, all of the other players will lose 5 points plus any shields that they didn't use. So in other words, all of them. So it makes the game a lot faster, a lot quicker. It gets you up in people's faces a lot quicker. So that is how you play St. Patrick. A quick overview. I mean, it is just an essential must-follow trick-taking game. So shorting suits is really vital, and drafting the right amount of shields is really cool. And yeah, that's basically how you play it. One other thing to let you know. So the person who's got the 7 is the person who starts the tricks, and they also start the drafting of the shields. So that is how you play St. Patrick. I'm going to take you back up to the top now and tell you why I love this game as much as I do. Okay, I hope that look at the game gave you a good feel, and I hope the house rules gave you an even better feel for why I love this game. So just going to briefly talk about the components. The rulebook's really fine. It's written really, really well. It's absolutely fine. Very little in there. Great. The cards, I love the artwork, but the quality is showing. I mean, this has been played a lot, but you're seeing the colour being chipped out on the front and the back of the cards. It's a bit annoying. The shields are fine, but this was a super cheap game, so I don't mind too much. I mean, I could sleeve it, but I'm not going to because it was super cheap, and it's fine. It just gives that old game feel to it. So, yeah, why do I love this game? I love trick avoidance games specifically. I love games where you're really desperately trying not to win. So when you get your hand of cards, you're like, okay, so how can I short out my suit? Now remember, you're passing some cards to the player on your left. The person who's currently losing gets to choose. And if they choose 2, you could lift up 2 of the horrible cards out of your hand and pass them to the player on your left. But of course, the player on your right is also doing the same to you. So you've got to keep that in consideration. Now, sometimes it's really great to keep the high numbered cards because you're thinking, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draft 6 shields. I'm going to protect myself 6 times. And I know I've got like the 7 orange, the 8 orange, and maybe 9 black. So I'm definitely going to get, I'm feeling like I'm definitely going to get 4 or 5, maybe 6 snakes here. So I'm going to protect myself. But then someone plays an absolutely amazing move on you, and they manage to grab all the snakes. You're left over with loads of shields, which, as I said, we've house ruled it, so these are lives that you lose if you take too many shields. And it totally changes the way you see the game when that happens. It's so exciting when you play it. 3 or 4 players plays exactly the same in terms of the feel for the game, and I love it both ways. There's no 2-player variant, and there's no way of playing 5 or 6. This is a 3 or 4-player only game, which takes about 25 minutes. It's absolutely fantastic. This game is definitely for people who like trick-taking games, but if you've not played a trick-taking game for a while, or you're not quite sure, because there's only 4 suits, there's no special powers, the drafting at the beginning can be explained quite easily. So this game, you can get up and running on this game pretty quickly. And so yeah, I'd say this game is for anyone that likes the idea of a small little card game that can be played in 20-25 minutes that has excitement on every single turn. You're literally watching everything what they're playing, trying to work out if someone's shorted a suit. Oh look, they've got no more greens. Oh great, I can start doing this, I can do this. And you're watching it the whole time. The draft at the beginning, you're like, well, why have they not drafted any? They've drafted no shields. What does that mean? Oh, they either think they're going to get no tricks or they're going for every single one. Fair play to them. Let's see what we can do. And that brings me back to the shoot in the moon mechanism, which is easily, in this game, it's easily my favorite way I've ever seen it done, because halfway through a round, you're watching and you're like, well, they've got 4 snakes. They've got 5. Okay, everyone, they're going for it. They're going for it. Stop them. And then you're looking at your hand, desperately trying to see if you can stop them. And sometimes if they've played it well, you can't stop them. Sometimes you can, and it's hilarious when that happens. But sometimes you can't, and they score amazingly, and it's just fantastic. So yeah, I love this game. I absolutely love this game. I'll teach this to everybody. It's fantastic. I'll take it on holiday with me. It's just a great game. So in terms of my rating for this, if you like trick-taking games and you have 2 or 3 other people you regularly play with, this is an essential purchase. This game, St. Patrick from Matago, the designer Haig Tata, and Sacha Tata Alexander. This is an essential purchase as far as I'm concerned. In terms of my Board Game Geek rating, my BGG rating, With a house rule, it's close to 9.5/10. As it stands out of the box, I still really like it. 8 maybe. But with my house rules in there being that you only get to draft once the shields, and any shields not used to protect yourself are effectively lives deducted from your score, and anyone that shoots the moon doesn't have any lives deducted, and also every other player loses 5 lives. So they're basically my shoot the moon, that's my house rules. So with all of that in there, this is close to a 10 for me. Absolutely love it. So yeah, I hope that you got a good idea of St. Patrick and how it plays, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers!